So nearly about 30 hours ago, we had the 28th Royal Rumble. Was it good? Was it bad? Well, I'm gonna go through. I'm gonna go through the entire thing. It's not gonna be a long review. It's pretty late in my neck of the woods. We're getting hit with a pretty bad snowstorm. I've been up all day long. I'm exhausted, but we're gonna get through this. So, Royal Rumble, January 20. I almost had to catch myself. January 25th, 2015. So we'll start with the kickoff show. It was initially booked as a 3-on-3 tag match, A New Day versus Tyson Kidd, Cesaro, and Adam Rose, but due to Xavier Woods still having a leg injury, I believe he's still in a walking boot, it was a tag match between Big E, Kofi Kingston, and Tyson Kidd and Cesaro. Right away, I'm going to say that when I found out they were putting those two together, I was very excited. I think there is tons of potential. Tyson Kidd is one of those people. Ever since I really saw what he can do in NXT, I was immediately impressed. I've been immediately impressed with Cesaro since day one. Not so much happy with the direction they're taking with both guys right now. Even as a tag team, I have a feeling that unless something changes, they're just going to be they're fading to nothingness. So I didn't see the entire match. But one of the best spots of the match was obviously the finisher. Kofi ends up diving through the ropes. Cesaro catches him with his amazing European uppercut. And when I say amazing, I mean there's only 3 people in all of wrestling who I feel can throw uppercuts that are awesome. Cesaro is probably in that list. And then Tyson Kidd gets the roll-up for the victory. I at first was going to give this one to A New Day. They've been trying to push these guys, they meaning the wonderful, fan-friendly company of World Wrestling Entertainment. They have been pushing them ever since they debuted. I'm not a fan. I think individually they could do great things. Together as a trio tag team, I don't really, it's not for me. It's not for me. It's not something that I can really sink my teeth into and enjoy. It's it's obviously good for kids. It's positive for kids and teens, and that's cool. But as someone who's almost 30 years old, I'm really not getting into it as a stable. They're very bland for me. And it starts from the minute they come down to the ring. I don't find their music to be very energetic. It just seems very stereotypical. I'm waiting for one of them to start preaching from the Bible. That's what it feels like to me. So, but here's the thing. This might have been the best tag team match of the night. That's saying a lot. So let's get right into the main show, and we have the New Age Outlaws versus the Ascension. Oh my God. I just want to say right now, I'm going to pause. I'm going to say real quick. If you're a fan of the Ascension or the New Age Outlaws, good for you. When I do anything wrestling related, if I were to say something I don't like if I were to say I'm not a fan of John Cena, I'm not trying to insult people who are. I'm just saying I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of either of these teams. So, to anyone who's throwing up red flags and saying give respect to the veterans, no. They're clearly there for what they're doing for the company behind the curtain. And as far as the Ascension goes, I saw them in NXT. I thought they were okay. They moved up and they built them up to look like Kratos and Quan Chi meet the Road Warriors, and I have not been a fan since. The match did one thing good, and that was give the Ascension heat. So good for them. It can hopefully make the tag team division interesting, but as far as the match goes, obviously Road Dogg was getting worked on the majority of the match. He's nowhere near the semi-athletic person he was 15 years ago. Billy Gunn, you can tell he's definitely been clanging and banging the weights at the gym because he was tossing around Victor like he was nothing. Inevitably, it had a very sloppy finish. Connor got the top rope choke on Billy Gunn, and then he had to hurl his butt back in the ring just so they could finish up the Fall of Man. A finishing move, I'm like, it's whatever. It's shades of classic tag team move. Tag team finishers, I guess. I'm not 100% a fan, but that was the finish of the match. Ascension beats the New Age Outlaws. Wasn't that long of a match. I wasn't 100% enjoyed by it. On a grade of 1 to 10, I'd give this match a 6, and I'm only doing that because it successfully did one thing, and that was give the Ascension good heat. So yeah, not a strong note to start the show on. Match number 2 picked up the pace a little bit. It was the Usos defending the tag team championships against The Miz and Damien Mizdow. First half of the match, I almost checked out completely mentally because it's just like it's the same thing. Even when they were doing singles competition, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's the same shtick. It's the same thing. Anyone who finds Mizdow's, anyone that finds what he does humorous, cool. I was laughing too. It's funny. Let me get a drink here. Yeah. But first half of the match, it's just, for some reason, it was starting to hit a nerve with me. I'm just like, okay, this has been going on long enough. Please do something different here. So finally, I got something. They really amped it up. Had some decent spots there. I will say this, that once Sandow started actually working in the ring, like his swinging DDT was awesome. The Usos' kicks were superb as always. Like, their jump spinning kicks are awesome. I don't know if they could rival Kofi's Trouble in Paradise, but still pretty good. Finish to the match was the patented Uso splash off the top rope, although the one who came off, he had to land sideways because of how The Miz landed. You could tell after the match that Sandow and Miz, I have a feeling sometime soon they're going to be splitting up. And I'll touch base on that once you get into the Rumble, because something happened there as well. And just for the record, I had the Ascension winning the New Age Outlaws. I had the Usos defending, and then we get into the Bellas versus Paige and Natalya. I would have preferred Natalya and Paige to win. Not a fan of this match, really. It felt to me like it was Natalya and Paige trying to set up work for the Bellas. I'm not a fan of neither of them. I think Nikki had one good match all of 2014. Brie had maybe one or two of all 2014. Once you take the rug out from underneath them, and then you pretty much just make them both heel, and you don't do anything with them, that's when I just stopped getting invested in that whole thing. Like, that was such wasted opportunity. Like, the worst, in my opinion, one of the worst storylines of 2014 was the Bella Twins. So, we go into this match. I feel bad for Natalya. She was getting kicked around pretty good, and in the chest area. So, yeah, I was definitely feeling for her. Paige got the least amount of ring time of anyone in there, which made the ending less believable for me. Natalya got worked on the entire match, and just as she's going to get the tag, Brie pulls Paige off the ropes. She barely sells, hitting her head on the apron, and it takes about a good 15-20 seconds for Natalya and Nikki to get to their feet. Nikki, of course, hits the bullhammer elbow because, that's her finisher. She's Lex Luthor, and, she's got that hidden pipe in her forearm. Seriously, when did that become her thing? Anyway. And then she gets the victory. And the funny part about this is shortly after that, shortly after the bell ring and they cut to the outside, you could see Paige actually checking her nails. It's like, yeah, I did nothing. I was in the match for like 2 minutes. I'm just gonna sit here and check my nails, because we're not doing anything. Um, I forgot to give a rating to the. I'm jumping all over the place. Uh, yeah, so I'll do this one and I'll go back. So this match, I'm giving this one as well a 6 because of Natty was a trooper in the ring, so I'll give it a 6. Usos versus Miz and Mizdow, that's going to get a 7. I will not go higher than a 7. If they're going to keep doing the same shtick where the 90% of the match is going to be the Miz basically handling all the work where Mizdow is entertaining us, then I'm not going to vote it any higher unless they're getting some equal ring time. But he's still pretty funny. I really hope he gets to do his own thing soon. Then we get to what I feel was the best match of the night, the triple threat match between Brock Lesnar, John Cena, and Seth Rollins for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Oh boy. I was not expecting this to be my favorite match. I was really having high hopes for the Rumble. But oh my gosh, first of all, it starts off with Brock Lesnar just cleaning house. Everybody was getting taken down. J&J Security was getting taken down. They were getting hurled out of the ring. Cena and Seth Rollins just German suplex for days. Even his vertical suplexes, like, it wasn't just Brock Lesnar suplexing them. He was literally trying to throw them out of the ring. And before anyone's like, oh, you probably think Cena was the worst in this. Yeah, I do. But when compared to the other two guys, I definitely think out of all three, he was definitely the third best. That's not saying he was bad. Cena had some good spots in that match. Probably the best was a sit-down powerbomb he had on Seth Rollins, which looked beautiful. Brock Lesnar, but the dude's a freak. The dude's crazy. Hurling German suplexes, vertical suplexes for days, throwing fists and knees. I mean, the dude's an animal. He's insane. I have never seen anyone look that menacing just by sheer presence alone. Like, I've never had that feeling, not even back in WCW when, like, the Giant hit the scene or anything like that. Brock Lesnar, he just has that badass factor to him, and it's awesome. Other high points of the match, Rollins hits a sick diving elbow off the top turnbuckle, putting Brock Lesnar through a table. It goes into Cena and Rollins having their squabble in the ring. Had a pretty good back and forth. If I had one complaint, and of course it's going to be directed at Mr. Cena, I definitely felt like he was... Correction, I have a few complaints about John Cena while we're thinking about it. Brock Lesnar did his thing. He was a beast. He was laying down the hurt. He was doing everything he could to not only sell, but Seth Rollins was doing everything he could at certain points to oversell, which could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on your stance. But my issues with Cena were this. Number one, and yes, I have them numbered. Number one, I don't care who you are. I don't care how long you've been in the company. When a man twice your size, literally, because Brock Lesnar could easily tower over Cena if, his faux body, his faux beach muscles that Cena just conjured up were non-existent. Okay, when you're getting hurled around the ring in F5 and German suplex and vertical toss suplex out of the ring and Kimura locks and you're getting the ever-loving crap beaten out of you, okay, keep your head down. Like, several times I'm watching Cena, lie in the ring pretending to be dead. And you can catch glimpses in the far side of your screen, like him lifting his head up, seeing what's going on, and putting it back down. I'm like, dude, if you can't position yourself to keep an eye on what's going on without picking up your head and looking like you're playing possum, then don't do it, okay? Number two, there were certain points where he was popping up after like big moves, and normally it doesn't bother me so much, but it's like, what are you doing? Like, he's clearly trying to take some of Lesnar's thunder on that one. And I know a lot of it was probably due to the fact that on Raw, apparently there was some, and this is some, I guess, confirmed, there was some squabbling going on in the back about how Lesnar popped right back up after an AA on Raw, and Cena wasn't happy about that. So he decided he was going to do that to Lesnar, which in turn kind of hurt him a little bit. So, but that didn't matter because I'm pretty sure that was one of the reasons why Lesnar was dialing up the intensity. He's like, dude, I'm the title holder, not you. You've had your 15,000 shots. You've had your 15 championships. You need to calm down and let's stick to the plan. But aside from those things, and I'm mainly just joking around on the second one, it was an outstanding match. It finished up with Cena was on the outside. Lesnar had been brought through the meat grinder. He got put through the barricade wall, through a table. The announcers are like, he has a broken rib. Gets back in the ring. Him and Seth Rollins. Him and Seth Rollins end up going at it, and it's just like the whole time. It's just like Seth Rollins is giving everything he's got to Cena. Just the energy was through the roof. The intensity was outstanding. And then there was like a spinning 450 splash, which looked awesome by Rollins, but he definitely did not land it well. He landed short, but it looked awesome. Was very, very excited about that. And shortly after that, Cena gets hurled from the ring. Him and Lesnar, Seth and Lesnar go at it. Inevitably, it goes from a couple Money in the Bank briefcase shots to the head. He goes to set up the curb stomp on the briefcase. Lesnar gets up mid Seth's run, picks him up, F5s him, gets the win. Outstanding match. The everything was solid. The moves were solid. The intensity was awesome. The action was spectacular. Seth was definitely the star of this match. He was all over the place. The dude was a beast. This right here solidified that he can be a main event guy, and that there's going to be some change for him down the road. It's coming. So anyone who's getting bored with Seth, I'm telling you, just on that match alone, believe me, the skies are opening up, and the possibilities are endless. And then we get into the Royal Rumble. And this to me was one of my high points I had expected. I had by the way, that triple threat match, I'm going to give that a 9 out of 10. Why? Because it was awesome. All three of them did a great job. It would not have been a triple threat without the three of them. I'm curious to see what's in store for Cena and Rollins. But anyway, we move on to the Royal Rumble. I had high hopes for this, and oh boy, I'm not going to go over each of the everybody announced individually, but it started off with The Miz and R-Truth, and I got my wish. My wish was to see. They were rumoring it. They were talking about it. Bubba Ray Dudley came in at number 3, and I was very excited. Him and R-Truth had a couple awesome spots. The "What's Up" head drop from the top rope. He called for the tables, obviously, but they didn't get any. The Dudley death drop, and I was like, that's awesome. Then there was a moment with Damien Mizdow coming down, and Miz is like, no, I'm going in, it's for me. And then Miz ended up, and then Miz got pushed down off the turnbuckle, and Mizdow ran in, and then he got shortly eliminated, and you could definitely tell with that right there, that's going to end up building to something. So, kind of interested to see what's going on with there. So, the Rumble itself, it was started off Started off, it felt like it started well. Uh, uh, Bray Wyatt came out, and he was just powerhousing through all of the competition. Special guests. I believe when the next one was the Boogeyman, and all I've got to say is they could have spent their money elsewhere better. It was pretty much the battle of who could weird out who first, and as it turns out, Bray Wyatt doesn't get weirded out that easily. And the last special appearance of the night, the last special appearance of the night that was actually in the Rumble officially, would be Diamond Dallas Page. Always a plus. Was a huge fan of him in WCW. He didn't stick around for long. And then we get into what I felt was the meat and the taters of the whole Royal Rumble. We got Daniel Bryan in the ring with Bray Wyatt. We got Dean Ambrose. And it was a war. And it felt like not 5 minutes after Daniel Bryan got into the Rumble, he gets pushed off the turnbuckle, or I'm sorry, off the outside apron, and he's eliminated. And one thing I forgot to mention, this crowd did not hold any punches. If they felt a match was stupid, they said it was stupid. The whole match, they were like, even the triple threat match, it's not, oh, let's go Cena, Cena sucks. It just said, no, they just said John Cena sucks. And it was like, F John Cena, Cena sucks. That's pretty much what it was. There was like maybe 1% C Nation in there, and you could not hear them. These fans were not wanting that guy there. And the minute Daniel Bryan gets eliminated, that crowd got hostile. There was nothing that could have brought that crowd. Nothing. The only time, okay, oh, and that doesn't even count when Roman Reigns came out. He came out, and they started booing even louder. And then it finished up. Ziggler came out 30th. The only time everyone in the audience was like genuinely excited and cheering and happy. And again, 2 minutes into the match, he gets a KO punch off the top rope, and him and Kane hurl him out of the ring, which is the WWE's way of giving everyone the giant middle finger, saying what we think is better. So the match would end with, oh jeez. And then again, at this point, as soon as Ziggler left the ring and Dean Ambrose got hurled out of the ring, it was just done. It was done. The match was dead, in my opinion. There was no saving it whatsoever. And then all of a sudden, you hear The Rock, which if that was supposed to be their secret, hate to tell you this, but when you start tweeting pictures of the guy at ringside earlier that day, it's not a really well kept secret. But he came back. Always a pleasure to see The Rock. I've been a fan of The Rock ever since he debuted in the 90s. He came out. He layeth the smackdown on Kane, helped out his cousin Roman, and Roman eliminated Big Show, eliminated Kane, forgot Rusev was outside of the ring, he came in, that's how pissed off the fans were. They were actually cheering, we want Rusev, in a country that is pride themselves on being like the focal point of United States history, was cheering for a Russian who insults us every single week. That's how much no one wanted Reigns to win. But yeah, Reigns hurls him out. I'm sure that won't count on his undefeated streak. Crowd is a booing. Even The Rock, I believe The Rock tried to get the fans over. With just him being there, and it still was not working. So basically, here's what happened. Once Daniel Bryan got eliminated from the match was done, in my opinion. The rest of it was just done sloppily. Man, I will say they did a couple things good. I loved the special surprise appearance of Bubba Ray. Probably might be the only time we see him. Hopefully not. He hasn't re-upped with TNA yet. I like how they built Dean Ambrose. Yeah, Dean Ambrose. Yeah, sure. I mean, he did a great job as well. Not really Don't really know what they're doing with him storyline yet. But Bray Wyatt, they really built him up as a real powerhouse kind of character. I'm interested to see what they're gonna do with him at WrestleMania. I think he could be like another version of like the Undertaker. And before any Dead Man fans freak out, there will only be one Undertaker. But I have a feeling they're trying to build up like another like another beast, another monster like that again. And I think Bray Wyatt has some potential in that area. He doesn't have to have an undefeated streak, but he definitely could have that potential. So, WWE stayed the course. They wanted Reigns to win. They got Reigns to win. The crowd went nuts and not in a good way. I was predicting the last two matches to be the best of the night. I predicted Reigns to win because, again, they not doing a good job keeping their secrets. It was so openly predictable. But I gave the Royal Rumble based on what happened, and I'm ignoring crowd response. I'm going based on what I felt. The Rumble is going to get a 7.5, and I'm being generous. And I'll tell you why. Daniel Bryan did an amazing job. Bray Wyatt did an amazing job. Dean Ambrose did a good job. Roman Reigns did an alright job. The minute you put Kane and Big Show in the ring, everybody knew what was going on. And then it just started failing. The number of jobbers in that ring all at one time, it was just there was no believability. None for me. But I guess that's the trade-off of Royal Rumble. You get your favorites, and of course they don't win, and you got to move on to the next show. Little change of pace. Normally, was going to do a Raw review, but because of the huge storm on the East Coast, they did a clip show of the last two matches of the Royal Rumble. So really no Raw. They just had like filmed interviews, which is all they really could do. I'm not really going to commentate on those. There's really nothing to go off from there. So, in an essence, what do I feel about the Royal Rumble in general? The kickoff tag team match was good. The opening match was lousy. The tag team championship match was better. The tag team diva match was lousy. The triple threat was the best match of the night, and the Royal Rumble was good, but it slowly fell apart toward the end. So, in a nutshell, I'll give the Royal Rumble, based on the triple threat alone, I'll give it a B-, which I think is saying a lot. Like, the power of obviously, the best part of the night was the triple threat and the Rumble. Granted, the Rumble pissed a lot of people off, but, to each their own. So, what do you think? You happy with the decisions? How did you feel about these matches? Let me know what you think. Next week, back to same format with Raw reviews, and hopefully we get some interesting insight as to what happens on the road to WrestleMania. So until next time, you all keep keeping on, and I'll talk to you later.